Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Backstage Pass. Once again, here sharing all kinds of great news and fantastic, some great insights into your theater company and to the art scene around the community in general. Got two really fantastic guests today that you're really going to enjoy. So stay tuned. We have two very special guests today here on Backstage Pass who you're extremely familiar with their work. You've seen it on the stage at Theatre Orangeville, but you might not know them. They might not be able to put a face to the name. Beckie Morris, our production manager and designer of a great many of our shows, and Lisa Lahue, our technical director. Welcome to Backstage Pass.
Thank you. Wow, it's interesting to be on this side of the camera.
I know. Usually you're pushing the record button. Well, you did push the record button just before we started this, right?
Right.
So on the other side of production, you're both happy, healthy, and very busy, I hear, these days. What's going on in the world of Theatre Orangeville?
Oh boy, no moss is growing on these stones. We had that quiet beginning while we tried to figure out what was next, but holy moly.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And the schedule it's pretty wild because it's several days of running at an extreme pace, followed by catching up then for a week and then running at that pace again.
Right.
It's very different than what we're used to.
Yeah, it is. It's completely different than what we're used to, but it's kind of it's exactly the same but completely different. It's kind of an interesting thing. Now, as I said at the beginning, Beckie, we see your work on stage as when you're designer. I mean, as production manager, you're responsible for the oversight of all the technical aspects of the theater. Is that a fair enough?
Right, the budgets, the scheduling, getting all the people in order, and then Lisa takes all of those technical elements to make them go.
Right. And then as designer, of course, you have a vision for the piece. And then Lisa, I guess your job is to kind of keep Beckie, her both feet on the ground and bring it to life. Is that a fair assumption? Is that a fair assessment of what you do?
Yeah, my job's all about the execution of the ideas and the schedules and the budgets.
So that's everything from cutting lumber and putting it together to overseeing others that do it?
Absolutely, yeah. A big part of what we miss the most right now is the other people in which we would normally be working with.
Yeah, now, because that's a huge component. I know for both of you, well, I should say, Beckie, you received the Town of Orangeville Arts and Cultural Award a couple of years ago as Established Artist of the Year.
Right.
And Lisa, congratulations, because you just this past recently won Arts Educator of the Year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. So, I mean, I know that mentorship, teaching, working with young people is a huge thing for both of you. Lisa, what does that look? I mean, I know it's difficult in these days, of course, but just talk a little bit about that, about your passion as a teacher and as an educator and as a mentor.
Education has always been a part of my story. I have a theater degree as well as an education degree. But I found myself in arts when I was young, and it kind of determined my path as I went. So to provide a space for that to happen for young people now is super important to me. And we've kind of brainstormed a few ideas on how to execute that education now if we can, but our schedule has not allowed us to push go on that quite yet.
Right. Part of who you are as well. So, and because you're also teaching, you have another little teaching gig that you're doing, right?
Yeah, currently I'm teaching at York University. I'm teaching their carpentry course for first years.
Well, that must be kind of an interesting thing to be doing. Is it online or how? I mean, are they all there? It must be.
It's in person for whoever chooses to come in. My largest class is only 6 people. My smallest is 1 single student. So it's a bit different, but just as enjoyable.
Beckie, I mean, I have seen it. I have seen the results of what you and Lisa and others, Sharon and a number of people, of the positive effects that working in the theater, being exposed to an environment that's safe, that's inclusive, I've seen you've saved lives. You've turned lives around. You've changed lives.
Mentorship is life-changing, both being a mentor and a mentee. We've had people that have come into our co-op programs because they didn't know what else to do. And we thought that they had some skills that we could build upon. And some of those that had no idea what they wanted to do have actually gone on to careers in professional entertainment, both theater and film and television. Some come in thinking they want to do theater, and we're able to give them this super valuable lesson that no, they don't actually want to do it. But they get to take away these life skills, especially in young women who don't get a lot of perhaps everyday exposure to working with tools and team planning and those things that are considered maybe a more masculine role. But we have a pretty equal mix of men and women young men and women that come through. But to see some of them that walk away being like, oh, I can use a drill, I can fix this door, I know how to do these things. Those are like affirming life skills.
But you've also had young people come to you in real turmoil, like personally, in almost distress. I mean, and to inspire them and to mentor them it might not necessarily be in theater, but as you say, just to go on to be able to have the confidence and the wherewithal to embrace life must be super satisfying.
Yeah, and to see where they fit in a team structure, right? And that they can be an important, valuable part of what that is.
Right. It's huge. Well, it's a huge part of who we are as a theater company. It's a huge part of who you are as people, and thank you for that.
It's a whole pillar of the Theatre Orangeville mandate.
Yeah,
which is just amazing.
And I think I have that poster somewhere on my wall that has that. We'll share that with everybody. When we come into the theater, audience members, when they come in and they see a gorgeous set, Beckie, that you've designed, and Lisa, that you've brought to life through that, is there one that really stands out for you? Is there an experience? Is there one moment, one set that you've created, or is there something really odd that's happened that wasn't at all how you thought it was going to transpire?
One of the ones I remember in detail was the set we did for A Gentleman Clothier, and we have such an excellent working relationship with Lisa, and our process is perhaps a bit unique to us in so much as that we work so closely together in other capacities that when I wear the designer hat, we get to have very different conversations where I forget about things like budgets and timelines, and sometimes we get to dream a bit big, and then have those conversations with Lisa where she tells me what's possible and what's not possible, and then I put on my production manager hat and try to reconcile that conversation with Lisa. But in that one, like I had provided you the drawings, and it had hundreds of feet of hand-milled trim.
Well, it didn't have to be hand-milled.
That's true.
I just had to because we didn't have the budget to buy hundreds of feet of trim. Miss Beckie Morris.
Of this period, really deep, kind of Victorian-inspired trim.
Yeah, that was a gorgeous set.
Lisa spent days in the shop absolutely covered head to toe in MDF, just making this spectacular custom moldings.
Yes, that was something special. That set was incredible.
We had to special order lumber in from Quebec just to be able to accomplish Beckie's trim requirements.
So this is a real tag team effort. This is a real.
The first time we unloaded 1-inch MDF off a truck, I thought I was going to fall over. I consider us to be pretty strong people. We're not small by any stretch of the imagination, but we struggled as the two of us to lift one sheet of it.
Yeah.
Well, they always, I've seen that. Sometimes I've always wanted the audience to be able to come backstage and maybe see the set from the other side to realize, that it's not, house quality. It's not house construction, right? That it's going to be repurposed. It's going to be reused. It's going to be recycled. It's going to have another life somewhere down the road. But all too often a show just kind of, once it's done, it's gone, and that's it. I know that feeling, Beckie. Well, I hear it from both of you. As a director, I get, I see it like this, and it goes like this, and then it moves like this, and then people who are far more knowledgeable on the laws of physics and mechanics and all kinds of stuff that sort of make sense of it.
Well, it's when we did Screwball Comedy. I said to Lisa, "Don't worry, it's 5 pieces."
Months earlier, she also came in saying, how big of a wall could stand on its own and move? and I didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, because I mean, if everybody
Hypothetically.
I remember that, I mean, it was the Norm Foster comedy, and the set turned, and furniture was attached to it. All moved together, and it was all in black and white.
That
Which was-
huge false proscenium, that big stone proscenium, and
Yeah. Wow.
there were some big 5 pieces.
It's astonishing the work you guys do. I mean, given what budget constraints are, given what time constraints are, without exception, audiences, they'll love the actors, they'll love the set. They go, oh, the direction was kind of mediocre, but oh, man, it was really terrific. But
do anything
I directed. But you guys always create such spectacular work that's a huge, it's environmental. People are walking in. Beckie, I want to take. Lisa, I need you to construct me a house that takes all different components of these Beckie's sets, the family room from Gift to Last, with that room from, and I want to put them all together and make one weird, neat house.
Super weird house, but man, that would be neat.
Super weird house with one room, of course, made out of cardboard in honor of Norman Bray.
Yes, the show of 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah. Now you guys are super busy, but what's bringing you joy these days in these interesting times? Just personally, what's giving you joy these days?
We're getting private concerts, which is, I think, we're getting private performances, because while we're trying to keep the numbers in the room extremely small when we're recording, we got to sit in front of Dan Needles and Rod Beatty and hear these amazing monologues and deliveries with 5 of us in the room. It's very intimate, and I feel very grateful to be one of the people that's seeing it live so that we can capture it on film. But those moments bring me great joy.
Lisa, what about you?
I've had a lot of joy finding the time to finally organize some of our chaos that exists out in the space. You can see behind me actually that these boxes and little containers didn't exist at one point in time. So I'm slowly getting everything just into their place.
I know.
By the time we open up again, I'm sure we'll find other places to put them. But
it's kind of like when you clean your room and suddenly everything's everywhere. It has to get much worse before it can get better.
Yeah, that's bringing me a lot of joy.
Can you guys come on over and help me with the clutter of this? Look at this. Look at this office. It's full of just junk.
Bring the boxes.
I got to declutter. Listen, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing who and what you are and your wonderful talents. So thanks so much. And we're looking forward to, I know audiences are looking forward to seeing your work on stage. And I know that kids in the community are looking forward to the experience that they're going to have when they're able to gather with you again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, David.
Well, I'm really curious to see what John Daniel has in store for us this week, what film that he's been watching and reviewing. Here's John.
Hey! I cracked my chair last night, guys. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. This recommendation was ever so slightly a little bit more challenging to put together this week. See, the way that I pick these movies is that I do a little bit of a deep dive onto a streaming service, and I try to pick a movie that was a little bit overlooked when it first came out, or maybe a little bit overlooked now. This week is no exception. Now, you ask any film buff if they've seen this movie, and they'll probably give you the skinny on the guy who made it, or some of the other work he's done, maybe some of the accolades and awards he got for some of his other work. But I'm going to try a little bit of a different approach and say that this is a movie I want you to recommend on behalf of me to a very special young person in your life. This is a movie that I judged a little too harshly when I was first introduced to it because it didn't look like anything I had seen before, and it didn't sound like anything I had seen before. It wasn't Disney, it wasn't Pixar, it wasn't DreamWorks, and therefore I wanted nothing to do with it. The film is called Spirited Away. It's a foreign film. It's a Japanese film written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki, which you can find dubbed into English on the Canadian Netflix. Now, the reason I had trouble putting this together this week is because, as much as I wanted to talk about it, it's so far out of the realm of what we're normally expecting from a children's movie or an animated movie to come out of Hollywood that I wasn't sure people were going to take to it the same way that I didn't take to it when I was first introduced to it. That being said, this movie is incredibly visual. Every frame of this movie is a painting. Quite literally, it was all hand-drawn. It's 2D animation. It came out in 2001 when 3D animation, computer-generated images, CGI was sort of becoming the norm for animation. But I would say this movie easily holds up against any animated movie to come out in the last 20 years. It's a movie that takes good versus evil and flips it on its head by saying that not all good is inherently good, and not all bad is inherently bad. It's a movie that doesn't hold your hand, which is hard to come by for a film that was intended for children. I think we often underestimate a kid's ability to keep up and draw their own conclusions with storytelling, and Hayao Miyazaki really kind of walked so that everybody else could run in that regard. It's scary, it's sad, it's funny, it's cute. As crazy as this film looks from the outside looking in, and from a visual standpoint, it's an incredibly genuine film and an incredibly unique film to show a young person. So, Spirited Away, give it a watch and tell us what you think. Did you love it as much as I do now, or did you hate it as much as I did when I first watched it? Either way, we want to know what you're watching when you're not at your theater. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, John. That sounds like a really amazing film. I'm going to check that one out on Netflix for sure. Thanks for the recommendation. As I've said a million times before, there is no community in this country that is more of a hotbed when it comes to the arts and culture scene, and there is tons going on these days. The Orangeville Winter Farmers Market has moved indoors. A lot of your favorite vendors are going to be there. It started on November the 7th on Saturday, like a week and a half ago, and it's happening every other Saturday. So I'll let you do the math. It runs on a Saturday from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Go to downtownorangeville.ca for all the details. Christmas is going to be happening a little different, of course, this year. The exciting Holiday Lights Extravaganza, Town of Orangeville, the BIA, and the Optimist Club of Orangeville have joined forces to light up our lives. These lighting displays are going to be all over different parts of the community. There's going to be a digital map that's going to be that's going to list all of those locations, because of course it's just a drive-by kind of thing this year. Casey Gardens is going to be closed, but you're going to be able to drive around town and see the great lights. Go to orangeville.ca for all that information. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Of course, Santa will be here. He's going to be making some scheduled appearances in various neighborhoods. Santa's going to appear on a fire truck, which has been coordinated by the Orangeville Fire and Recreation and Events Division. The route is not disclosed because Santa's always big about secrets at this time of year, but it's going to be kind of similar to like an ice cream truck. Santa's going to be going around different neighborhoods. And again, go to orangeville.ca for that schedule of when Santa might be on your street. Businesses, downtown businesses, are staying open as late as part of the Holiday Lights Extravaganza. So please, please, please do all that you can to get out and support local businesses this year. More than ever, shop local, stay local, look after everybody that's in this great town. They're going to be open late on Thursday and Fridays starting November the 11th. So that was last week. This is old news I'm giving you. But again, go to downtownorangeville.ca for all the deets on that. Down in Alton, the Alton Mill Center, everybody knows that, the mill, the beautiful mill down in the village of Alton. Studios are open, galleries. They've got a Christmas market. You can have your picture taken with the Grinch. And their holiday open house is November 21st, 22nd, so check it out. Also down there at the mill, Headwaters Arts is featuring an exhibition, the Artful Giving Show, all local artists. And that is happening up until January the 3rd. And you can go to the altonmill.ca for all the info on those events. Also, the Museum of Dufferin, or MAUD for short, as it's now called. There are 4 galleries. They've got those beautiful 4 historic buildings. The permanent and long-term exhibitions are open. You can purchase handmade treasures up there. They're holiday treasures, arts and craft, while going through the museum. And that's running from December 1st to the 12th, dufferinmuseum.ca. We have just, we have just dropped, I guess, is the parlance, or published, a book. It's called Raise Your Spirits. It's sort of created by me and also our phenomenal general manager and photographer extraordinaire, Sharon Aliff, our editor, Bernadette Hardaker, and our mentor, Nancy Frater, down at Booklore. All of these incredible talents, except for me, but they're hugely talented, have come together to put together this book, Raise Your Spirits, 21 Cocktails in 21 Acts. The book sells for $20. Every one single cent of the proceeds go to support Theatre Orangeville and all of our programs. And you can get that book either by going to Booklore or by going to theatreorangeville.ca and buying it online. Theatre Orangeville Presents Online is really, as our guests, as Beckie and Lisa said, is really going full tilt boogie right now. In January, we're bringing you Broadway Bound, and we're also bringing you a show called Brave New Works. Both of these shows are going to feature and showcase the amazing and remarkable talents of young people who have basically grown up before your eyes. They've grown up on the Theatre Orangeville stage or in some of our programs, and we're going to be bringing, they're all now out conquering the world, and so we're going to bring them back and showcase what they're up to, what they've been doing, and just and let you enjoy the talents of these remarkable young people. Then in February, of course, we've got Affair of the Heart, our beautiful, beautiful Valentine's show, and then that month is rounded out by Script Tease, which is a play reading series, and we're going to have a very, very special cast for that. They just got confirmed the other day. It's going to be super exciting, but details on that will be forthcoming. Go to theatreorangeville.ca. You can subscribe now. It's a 6-show subscription. Why not become a subscriber to the 2 Christmas shows, January, February, and then we're going to be having some wonderful new programming that's going to be coming your way a little later in the spring. So check it out, theatreorangeville.ca. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, as always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay connected, and we will see you in your theater online really soon.